Sometimes the real danger isn't what we see, it's what we feel without explanation. Abandoned places, endless roads, sounds that appear only when you're alone. You might think all of this is imagination, but some people enter places that should have stayed hidden, and they never come back the same. Today's story is not about a monster chasing you. It's not about a sudden scream meant to scare you. This story is about an adventure that started with simple curiosity and ended with a truth that was never meant to be discovered. If you feel ready, turn off the lights, raise the volume a little, and stay with me until the end, because what happened there might still be happening right now. My name is Adam. I've never believed in ghosts. Not because I was brave, but because I always needed proof. Something solid, something logical. Stories never scared me, rumors never moved me. Even the most terrifying videos online felt scripted, exaggerated, fake. That changed the night I agreed to go on that trip. It started as a joke between friends, a forgotten place deep in the mountains, far from the city. No signal, no nearby villages, just an old road almost no one uses anymore. They said the place was abandoned after an accident years ago. Some said it was a fire, others said people simply disappeared. No one agreed on the details, and that, strangely, made it more interesting. There were 4 of us, young, curious, and bored with ordinary life. We packed light, telling ourselves it would only be a short adventure, a night or 2 at most. The road felt wrong long before we reached the destination. The further we drove, the quieter the world became. No animals, no wind, even the sound of the car engine felt too loud, as if it didn't belong there. At some point, the GPS stopped working. Not frozen, not rotting, just gone. That should have been the moment we turned back. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. Once it takes hold, logic becomes optional. We reached the place just before sunset. It wasn't a house, it wasn't a cabin. It was something in between. A structure that looked unfinished, or abandoned halfway through being built. The walls were cracked. The windows empty, like dark eyes staring back at us. The air felt heavy, not cold, not warm, just heavy, pressing against our chests. The first sound we heard wasn't inside the building. It was footsteps. Slow, careful, too close to be an animal. We froze. One of my friends whispered it was probably Echo. Another laughed nervously. But the footsteps stopped the exact moment we stopped breathing. That was the first time I felt it. That feeling that says, you are not welcome here. Inside, the smell hit us immediately. Old wood, dust. Something metallic like dried blood, though we couldn't see any. The inside was darker than it should have been. Our flashlights barely helped. The beams seemed to die after a few steps, swallowed by the darkness. Then we saw the writing on the wall. It wasn't graffiti, not random. It was the same sentence, written over and over, in different handwriting, Dio not SDI after IGHTFL. Someone laughed, too loudly. The sound bounced through the empty hall like it had no source. Outside, the sun disappeared faster than expected. And that's when we realized something terrifying. The door we entered through was gone. Panic set in. Every instinct screamed to leave. We ran down the hall, but it seemed to stretch endlessly, the walls shifting slightly as if the building itself was alive. The shadows moved, not with the light, but against it. We split up, hoping to find another exit. I ran down a narrow passage, the air colder than the open outside. My flashlight flickered. I heard whispers behind me, voices I didn't recognize, speaking in a language that didn't exist. Every word made my teeth chatter. Then I saw it, a shadow at the end of the hallway. Not fully human, not fully solid. It watched me, but its eyes, they were empty, infinite darkness. I froze. It tilted its head slowly. I couldn't move. My legs refused to obey. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The shadow started moving toward me slow. Patient, knowing every step I would take before I took it, I stumbled back into a larger room. There in the center was something covered in a cloth. It moved slightly, as if breathing, something alive or something pretending to be alive. I approached, against all sense, drawn by curiosity and fear. The cloth shifted. Beneath it I saw a hand. Pale, long fingers that bent in impossible angles, and then a face, not human, hollow eyes, mouth moving, whispering my name. I ran. Every step echoed unnaturally. The walls now seemed to close in. The floor beneath me shivered like water. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. I don't know. Time didn't exist there. When I finally saw daylight, the others were gone. No trace. No car, just me outside on the mountain road. I should have left. I should have never gone back. But I kept thinking about the shadows, the voices, the thing under the cloth and the writing D-O-N-E-T-S-T-I, F-D-R-N-I-G-H-T-L-O. I never spoke about it until now, because I know. Some places are not just abandoned, they are alive. And they remember, and if you step there, they will watch you. They will follow you. And sometimes after that day, I couldn't stop thinking about the mountain. Even though I was outside, even though the sunlight burned my skin, the shadows from that place stayed with me. Every night, I felt watched. Every creak of the house sounded like the building itself whispering my name. Days passed, and the nightmare didn't fade. I tried talking to friends about it, but no one believed me. They laughed. They said I was imagining things, but they didn't hear the whispers. They didn't feel the air grow cold around them for no reason. A week later, curiosity, or maybe something else, brought me back. I told myself I would only look, only observe. Maybe I could prove I was wrong. Maybe the building had no life, no shadows, no voices. I drove back to the mountain. The road was silent, almost welcoming, but I didn't trust it. When I arrived, the sun was low. The building looked exactly as I remembered, but something had changed. The windows, they were darker. The air, thicker. The silence, heavier. I stepped inside. Immediately, the darkness swallowed my flashlight. The hallways seemed longer, twisting in impossible ways. The walls breathed, moving slightly as if alive. The whispering began again. Not words, just sounds, low and heavy, curling around me like smoke. I reached the central room. The one with the cloth-covered shape. It was gone. The air felt wrong. A cold pressure pushed me to the ground, and then I heard it, my name, soft, patient, not from behind, not in front. It was everywhere. I couldn't tell where it came from. I tried to run, but the hallway had changed. The exit had vanished. Every turn I took brought me back to the same room. The room was bigger now, walls stretching impossibly. Then I saw shadows moving independently from the light. They were tall, thin, and elongated. Not human, but humanoid. They floated, gliding just above the floor, silent, watching. I ran to the far corner, heart hammering. And there it was again. The cloth moved. The breathing was loud now, echoing in the vast room. I gathered all my courage and pulled it away. Beneath it, a figure stood, pale, skeletal, with hollow eyes that seemed to devour the light. Its mouth moved, whispering words I couldn't understand, but somehow I knew they were warnings. I turned to escape. The shadows blocked every doorway. They pressed in, silent, patient, waiting for me to panic. I screamed, but the sound disappeared. I ran blindly, hands brushing walls that felt like skin, and then the floor gave way. I fell into darkness, not a fall like gravity pulls you down. It felt endless, like I was being pulled through a tunnel of black nothingness. Cold water, or maybe air, I couldn't tell. Something brushed my face, soft, wet, and moving with intent. I woke up outside. Again, the sun was higher this time, but I was not alone. The shadows had followed me out. I could feel them in my peripheral vision. Every tree, every rock, every shadow in the sunlight had a presence. They whispered, patient and slow, watching, waiting. I tried to leave, drive away, go back to life, but they were everywhere. Every corner of my apartment, every street I walked, the whispers followed me. Sometimes I would see them reflected in glass, long shapes stretching impossibly, moving just out of sight. I stopped going out, stopped answering calls. My camera recordings at the mountain were corrupted footage missing, sounds cut abruptly. Even now, when I try to write about it, I hear whispers in the room, cold air, shadows that shouldn't be there. Some nights, I swear I see the figure from the cloth just outside my window, watching, patient, silent, waiting for the nightfall, because I know now some places are not just abandoned, they are alive. They remember every step you take. They wait for those who are curious, and when night falls, they do not let you leave. They don't let you leave.